Hey, aloha guys, Eric West here, HawaiiRealEstate.org, coming to you live from the beautiful island of Maui, Hawaii. Just in time for your Maui fix right there. The sun is just getting ready to kiss the edge of the island of Molokai. And today we're going to talk a little bit about water. What's Maui County going to do next, I wonder? Well, the next thing they're going to do is dry up the golf courses. And I'm standing here at the beautiful Plantation course, one of the most premier courses in the world. This is where the PGA starts its tour every year in January, Tournament of Champions. But that could change this year. It's very possible that stop on the PGA will get canceled because why? Because the golf course is not going to be here. It's literally drying up. So I'm going to show that to you here. And we're going to talk a little bit about water on Maui, because according to certain people, they think that there's a water shortage here. And if you look at the thumbnail of this video, it is an image of the rain gauges up on Mauna Kahalawai, Pu'ukoli'i, I think that's how you say it, the peak, Pu'ukoli'i, but I definitely know it's Mauna Kahalawai, but I'm still working on my Hawaiian pronunciations there. But that is a rain gauge, and it is, last time I checked, if you want to just Google this yourself or go to AI, the rainiest spot in Hawaii. The rainiest spot, second rainiest spot, I believe, in the world. So 386 inches of average rainfall happen the mountains right above this golf course. So to say that there's a water shortage or a drought is simply incorrect. And the way this entire program worked for hundreds of years is they irrigated cane and pineapple fields, 2,000 acres of pineapple fields, by the way, all irrigated, billions of gallons of water for over 100 years. That doesn't happen anymore, but the water is still dropping every single day on that summit. And what the missionaries did, I believe, is they came here and they created these irrigation canals. And the lawsuit that's happening right now here at the Plantation course against Maui Land and Pine, who still owns the land. They own most of the land in West Maui, by the way. They are not maintaining, supposedly, the system that brings the water down from the mountain to the golf course. Of course, Maui Land and Pine says Maui County has them on a restriction. So who's really in charge of the water? Who knows? But I'm going to show you what the course looks like right now. Let's go take a look, and of course we're going to squeeze in a beautiful Maui fix while we're at it. But yeah, the next thing, you can't invent this stuff. All the crap that they're coming up with to once again hurt the island of Maui. Because let me tell you what, if the PGA does not stop here this year, is that going to be good or bad for tourism? Is it going to be good or bad for the economy? Is it going to be good or bad for the people that work and support all those golfers that come here and all the visitors that come here to watch the golf tournament? You don't have to be, I don't think, an economic genius or some kind of professor emeritus on the topic of what's good or bad. Everyone knows that Maui County is doing everything in their power to discourage people from coming to the island. They wouldn't know how to market Maui if you paid them, but they're really good at not marketing it or actually trying to get people not to come here. So anyway, let's take a quick look down. We've already saw the sunset right there behind the beautiful island of Molokai. And in the comments section, of course, I'd love your opinion. Love to know what you think. I've talked to lots of people. Obviously, I'm a real estate agent here on the beautiful island of Maui. I've got clients that own properties in this neighborhood and are building homes in this neighborhood. I'm not a big golfer myself. I love to golf, don't get me wrong, but I'm kind of in that stage of life where I'm still too busy working to be golfing. But someday, you know, when I can't do anything else, when I can't surf anymore, when I can't mountain bike, when I can't do anything, I figure maybe I'll pick up the clubs again. But let's just take a quick look at what this golf course is looking like right now. But in the comment section, let me know, what do you think? What's going on, man? What's going on? Can you believe that the owner of both the Bay course and the Plantation course is suing Maui Land and Pine for not keeping up their end of the deal? Because basically when they sold them the course, they guaranteed they would have enough water to irrigate their acquisition. But here's a quick shot. This is actually one of the most beautiful holes in the entire course. This is where the tournament ends on the 18th hole. Let's just take a quick look down here, shall we? Huh. Looking pretty brown. Looking pretty rough. So if you're just joining the live, thank you so much for tuning in. Here's the latest and greatest of what's going on here on Maui. The Bay course and the Plantation course, which is where I'm at right now in Kapalua, are both dying essentially, are completely brown. Interestingly enough, the water company that manages it also does the courses in Kaanapali, and the courses in Kaanapali are still looking nice and green. So for whatever reason, Kapalua is under siege at the moment. And it's not just the golf courses. So you have various communities, neighborhoods, like the Ridge, for example, all unable to irrigate. Very expensive landscaping. You have a beautiful neighborhood over here in Mahana Ridge. I've got clients in there as well. You know, putting in hundreds of thousands of dollars in landscaping that they can no longer irrigate, and it's all dying because there's a water shortage. Okay, you can't quite see the peak of the West Maui Mountains, but it's right there in that direction. Mauna Kahalavai has an average of 386 inches of rain every year. That is an insane amount of rain. The second rainiest spot on Earth, the rainiest spot in Hawaii, right? So, you know what's so funny to me about this whole thing? It's like, right when you think, like, people aren't that stupid, right? That they're not that stupid. Guess what? I don't know. They could be somehow convinced that because it only rains 14 inches a year in Lahaina, and maybe that's a little off this year, that somehow that's the water that we're using to irrigate. That's not the water. You're not using rainwater that falls in Lahaina or right here to irrigate. It's the water that falls up in the mountains. The second rainiest spot on Earth, that's the water that they're using. And sure, the numbers are down a little bit this year, but let me tell you what, that is an inordinate amount of rainfall. That's insanity. That makes Seattle look like a dry land by comparison. And so all that water that falls up in Mauna Kahalavai, and also on the west, on the east side of the island, you know, Haleakala, is enough to irrigate, and it did irrigate billions of gallons every day for hundreds of years for the cane grass. I mean, for the sugar cane, now it's cane grass, for the sugar cane, for the pineapple. Now, all that irrigation is done. They don't irrigate. Now, there is a company that purchased the land, some of the land. They are doing some irrigation over there now, but nothing compared to when sugarcane and pineapple was in full production, and certainly hasn't been in full production in West Maui for a very, very long time. So guess what? All that water still flows and still rains, but hasn't been being used at all. When was the last time we had a sugarcane field in West Maui? Late 80s, early 90s? So all that water then either flows into a stream or flows down into reservoirs that obviously are just like aquifers that we have on the mainland. We've got aquifers here, and they've just been getting charged up like crazy. And there's a very small population that we have here, very small, not like the usage that you would see in Colorado and those rivers and whatnot, millions and millions and millions of people. We have 150,000 full-time residents on Maui, so, and a couple of golf courses, right? So the amount of water that falls here is enough to irrigate thousands of acres of agricultural land, which is not happening. But all of a sudden, we've got a water shortage, and you can't irrigate your yard, you can't irrigate a little golf course, you can't irrigate county parks, which they are doing finally, but they didn't do that for a long time. So again, I believe it's another narrative that's false, that they're trying to do something. And you can look at the activists. One of the things they're trying to control is the water, because they're not dumb. They know if they can control the water, take away the water, then you've got the power. Same thing happened over on Molokai. Look at the golf courses there, they're dirt. So unfortunately, this is yet another siege on the economy, on the people of Maui, on the rightful landowners, on the private property rights of people that have invested their hard-earned money to own and enjoy a home, enjoy a property, enjoy a park, enjoy a golf course. And now that is threatened under the guise of a drought. And you can only pull that off, right? Unless the people just don't have a brain, right? Like literally. This is not you can't have a drought in the second rainiest spot on earth. It didn't stop raining up on that mountain. And the water comes from there. As a matter of fact, the missionaries are the ones that came here and built the irrigation canals and the whole system that feeds the reservoirs that provided the water to irrigate the land when it was for agriculture purposes. Now it's just for a couple of golf courses. So very frustrating when you're dealing with a goofy government and activists that are trying to hurt the very community that they're supposedly in support of, but this is going to do nothing but hurt the economy, hurt the infrastructure, hurt the tourism, and create a bunch of unnecessarily legal bills as they hide behind a supposed drought. We've always only gotten, 10 to 15 inches of rain on the west side of Maui, usually all in 1 or 2 days. That is a historical fact over time. And it's been raining 383 inches of rain just up the hill from here for hundreds of years, thousands of years probably. So there's no shortage of water. So why this is happening, in the comments, let me know. What do you think? And will they have the Plantation tournament here this year? Will the Bay Course, or will they just let this grass die? Is it possible that once the grass dies, it costs even more money to, I don't know. But what will they come up with next? All I know is that this is, in my humble opinion, a direct attack on the very, on the very fabric of the community in terms of the people that own property here, whether it's, there's no $100,000 condos, whether it's a low-income housing, all the way up to a $35 million property. I don't care the price tag. Those are all fee simple property owners that paid the bill for the property, they pay their taxes, and they're entitled to that fee simple property, to enjoy it, to invest in it, to quiet enjoyment, and to have the resources that were promised them essentially when they made that acquisition. And basic utilities to a parcel is part of what makes the whole system work. Electricity, right? Cable, Wi-Fi, it's almost more important than water. Water, right? These are the things that are the entitlements that make your neighborhood possible, that make your home possible. And so if the government starts to go after that, and all of a sudden your hard-earned money that you put into putting in your rose bush or putting in your grass, all of a sudden you can't water it because the government says there's a drought and it's a BS lie, that to me is absolutely criminal. The owner of this golf course, whether you like it or not, he had enough money to buy it. That's good for him, right? Good for the billionaires, good for the millionaires, good for the people that done well for themselves. They provided jobs, they provided income for others, they provided the tax base. People that make money are good because they help other people make money. So I'm tired of the whole narrative of everyone hating on the people that earn a good income and can afford to buy places around the world. That's okay. As a matter of fact, they're the ones that provide the tax dollars for the welfare checks, right? So it all works because there's industrious, hardworking people in a capitalistic society that go out and they do well, and that is the foundation of our system. We don't have a socialist system. We have a capitalistic system that, quite frankly, works really, really well. So it's unfortunate when you get socialist-minded government officials that like if you ever look at Tamara Paulton, before she does a committee meeting, she literally states that the occupation of a foreign body, the belligerent occupation. So here's a sitting Maui Council chairperson that literally reads a statement that she does not believe in the authority of the U.S. government. These are the type of people that are running the government here on Maui, and I don't think it's right. I really don't. If you swear an oath to take an office to uphold the Hawaii State Constitution, then that's what you ought to swear an oath to. If you don't believe that it's a legitimate government, then you shouldn't be in government, and you certainly shouldn't be influencing policy decisions that are affecting the hardworking, good-hearted people of this country. That's my opinion. Let me know what yours is in the comments section. And in my humble opinion, it's time to turn the water back on, especially, you know, we have obviously have some fire issues on this island. Having everything dry where nobody can irrigate their lawn, their bushes, is not really that smart either, right? Mauna Kea is still raining every single day. The second rainiest spot on earth, the rainiest spot in the state of Hawaii, and they're trying to convince us that we're in the middle of a drought. Unbelievable. All right, guys. I'm going to leave you with that parting thought and this beautiful parting shot of a beautiful plantation course. I hope the PGA comes back here for the beginning of the year and their tournament. And I hope this grass turns green. And I hope we can get rid of Governor Green. And there's an overthrow of the socialist regimes that are trying to run this country. Just like President Trump just said a few moments ago on his press conference there, that they're taking over DC and there wasn't a murder. You know, the way these cities are being run and these counties are being run is atrocious. Let's pick up the garbage, let's get rid of the garbage, turn back on the lights, turn back on the water, and protect the rights of those individuals that basically foot the bill. If you agree, I'd love a thumbs up. You can subscribe to the Shadow Band channel if you like. Probably won't make a difference, but it doesn't pay to tell the truth. But I know one thing, it really does. It doesn't pay to tell the truth on a censored platform like Twitter, like YouTube, like Google. Can you believe we even put up with that? The fact that they censor us. It's crazy. If you'd have told me 10 years ago that there would be active censorship in our country, I said, no way. I said, no way, not in America, man, not in the United States of America. This isn't communist Russia. Oh boy, if they had their way though, huh? All right, guys, till next time. Eric West from Kapalua, out.